It would appear at a glance that, in life we are either kings or pawns, as spoken by the Napoleon Bonaparte character in the story The Count of Monte Cristo. This, however, is a statement coming from a lower dimension of perspective known as politics. Although it rings true within that dimension, it offers an incomplete picture of the true nature of the situation. Here are the questions we need to ask. Who is actually in control of your destiny? What are the real obstacles? Ancient wisdom suggests that our own myopia and our lack of ability to see more deeply concerning what we can actually do individually to affect our lives are the main obstacle to our freedom. Our chains exist within our own minds. The limiting powers we choose to place over us are the real problem. Aligning to and working in accordance to the ultimate power frees us from the earthly restraints we once had. In this exposition of kings and pawns, let us turn to the narrative of the Exodus for a map sheet of how this works. Pharaoh and Egypt are as alive today as they ever were for those trapped by the spell. The titles Pharaoh and Egypt have long been institutionalized in our thought, and we need to return to the original meanings of the words being used to understand the template. From the perspective of those who signed over their self-sovereignty to Pharaoh and Egypt, it seems there are only kings and pawns indeed. Pharaoh, in Hebrew spelled Peh, Rosh, Aleph, He, literally means mouthpiece of evil. Secondary translation using the bet within the letter Peh would render a meaning great house of evil. Egypt in Hebrew, Metzarim, literally means narrow straits, or the land of constraints. The concept of Egypt being communicated in the scriptures is not limited to a geopolitical entity, but rather a description of the principles communicated in the word. Egypt is the world of myopia, the land of limited perspectives. Egypt represents an area of restricted vision. Egypt, Metzarim, is literally existing and being constrained within the lower order of three-dimensionally projected human obstacles, drama, fear, and politics. Living in Egypt means you fear the evil speak of Pharaoh. Living in Egypt means you are literally constrained in your ability to see the reality of who is in actual authority. In a higher dimension of perspective, there is only one true king, and Pharaoh himself is a pawn. This is indicated in the narrative of the Exodus story. There are three orders of entities, as viewed from an upper dimensional perspective. The first order would be the pawns using this Napoleonic chess piece metaphor. Pawns represent the lowest order. Pawns are the unidimensional characters in the world that seem to move in one direction only. They do not move themselves on the board, but are moved into place by a higher power. The pawns of the world are used to fill a specific role, to fulfill a purpose, but in reality have no authority of their own. Pawns are used to create a physically projected 3D obstacle course to those who are trapped by their myopia within the seemingly defined boundaries of the physical world. The entire house of Pharaoh exists on the falsely projected chessboard that many think is life. The chessboard is not life, but rather an illusionary constraint. Men who are citizens of Egypt, citizens of self-induced myopic limitations, are completely constrained by an inherited perception that the squares are reality. They do not see the bigger picture, that the chessboard itself is an illusion and a test. For citizens of Metzarim, the pharaohs, the presidents and the popes are principalities and powers that they fear. They are in a trance, constrained by their extremely short-sighted view of the world. They are focused on a game that they volunteered to play, Being born into the game, many don't realize there is life outside the board. At any time, the citizens of Myopia can choose to look up and see the room they actually exist within. They may discover they have the opportunity to engage in a real life and exist with a real family. The game was an illusion. Pawns are the lowest order and serve only within the boundaries of the game. Men, however, are a higher order than the pieces on the game board. Unlike the pieces on the board, men are free to choose whether or not to expend their existence within the illusion of the game board. Men are free to enter or to exit the myopia of the game at any time. This puts men on a higher order than Pharaoh. Men are entities with the freedom to choose their direction. They can choose who they will serve, what realm they will exist within, and what direction they want to go. Given this higher order of understanding, there are 3 types of men in this world. The first are independents, men who serve themselves either on or off the game board. Independents think they have power in of themselves to live and sustain their existence. They fail to realize what holds them together. They think they drawn breath on of themselves. These men are the epitome of arrogance, Luciferians who govern themselves as they wilt. They are self-centered and are only concerned with their own story, their own spotlight, and their own status. The second and most common type of man is the slave to the game board. Men who are in continuous servitude to Egypt, the idea that they are constrained within the game. These men submit themselves to the lowest order, the pawns. They jump when the pawns move. They study all the pieces and strategize how to maneuver within the board. They think that failure or death within the game board is real. They fail to grasp the actual room and outside world around them. They expend their existence navigating the board, trying to evade illusions of threat that don't actually exist given the bigger picture. They worry about the game day and night. They spend their lives in servitude to the myopic paradigm of the 2-dimensional game they are playing. The third type of man is the man who sees God, the man who wrestles with staying focused on his Creator. In the ancient Hebrew, this man is described by the term Israelite, not a geopolitical or genetic affiliation, but rather a descriptive state of focus. These men have exited the chessboard altogether. They stood up and walked away from the table. They left the land of myopia, the land of Egypt, behind. The third entity is the true king, the king of the universe, the ultimate highest order, the creator of everything who spoke the universe into existence. Not constrained to the chessboard or the room it sits within, his authority reigns over all powers. He is the author of the laws that govern reality. He does not merely possess all power and authority, he is the sole authority over all power. The king has 100% control over the pawns, the game board, and everything in the greater world outside of it. He allows our game board to exist. He allows us to play it or to walk away from it at any time. He has granted us freedom to exist where we wish. Men who truly see God are not concerned with the game board. They know it once consumed them, and that they walked away from it to pursue a real life. Some men serve themselves. They view themselves as independent powers. They have the same function and fate as Lucifer. Most men serve the pawns. They offer themselves as living sacrifices to the drama of Egypt. Their time and attention is glued to the folly and drama of the game board. They don't have the eyes to see the vast scheme of things. A few men rein back in the control of their sovereignty from either themselves or from the world. They take their sovereignty back and then offer it fully in service to the real king. They live their lives enjoying the reality of their daily blessings. The game and its pull have zero effect on them. All they see are opportunities to live life in the way they were designed to live it. They trust their father. They are free of the bounds of Egypt. Pharaoh is long behind them. Those that serve themselves destroy themselves. Those that serve Pharaoh will be constrained by the myopia of the game board. Those that serve Yah focus on hearing his voice. To these people, Pharaoh and his armies are drowned in the sea behind them. For more, please like and subscribe to this channel. If you are serious about living, please see the links below for more opportunities to grow.